All right, good evening. Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Since everybody's all hell bent on getting into a war with a nuclear power, potential war with a nuclear power, let's talk about it. Have you thought about what happens during a nuclear war? In all likelihood, before the war breaks out, we will be placed in a blackout situation by hackers. Electricity will go out, power will go out, infrastructure basically shut down by hacking. We'll be in the dark. That'll be the prelude ahead of time to a nuclear attack. Everybody will be like, what's going on, and everything else. Internet will probably be disrupted. Your cell phones probably will not be working. So as soon as everybody's like, what's going on, then all of a sudden an attack could possibly happen. If an ICBM missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, capable of carrying up to 10 little missiles, 2 kiloton, is launched from, say, Moscow, it could hit anywhere in the United States within 45 minutes. So you have 45-minute warning. Chances are it'll be an air detonation. And what does that mean? It means it'll explode if it's not shot down. It will explode approximately 1 mile above the surface. And as an example, Washington being a most likely target, within one flash of a second, a blink of an eye, as scripture says, there would be over 132,000 dead or injured in a second, a blink of an eye. Buildings will absolutely be destroyed from the fallout, the heat. Fires will be an inferno raging, going on for God knows how long. There will be no water to put fires out because there will be no surviving that. There will be no firemen to put the fires out. There would be no surviving that. Nothing. It would be a raging inferno within 100 miles of that blast. Life after that, if you should survive it. And how can you survive a nuclear war? By going underground, by being in a shelter that has at least foot thick concrete walls, or in a dirt shelter below ground, say a root cellar, tornado shelter, some sort of shelter below ground that has at least 2 feet of dirt surrounding it. The dirt will absorb it. Plan on being there. If you are 100 miles away from the blast, plan on being underground for at least 1 week before you can safely come out. Some say 3 days. I'm going to stay a week before you can emerge. While you're underground with your family and your pets, you can't build a fire in there because you're not going to have very much air circulation. So plan on eating MREs or food out of a can. Have some camper toilets ready to go. Have buckets with cat litter in it or other natural mulch for you to go to the bathroom in. Have garbage bags. Have cots, if possible, to sleep in. If you have a big basement or big location, you may not have that opportunity, that luxury. If you are going to risk it and say, I'm moving out to the country, good on you, and you're going to be underground in your basement, have food, plenty of fresh water, a way to use a toilet, a way to pass the time, listen, see if you can pick up NOAA radio. There may be something on there. Check out your ham radio if you have one. Have cards or games or something else like that. Be sure you have plenty of blankets. And then once you emerge, be prepared for the shock of your life. I don't know if there'll be an invasion. Chances are reciprocal missiles will be fired from us, and they will be reeling from that devastation. Do I expect enemy troops on this land? I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do expect is people will be in shock, people will be devastated, people will be dying from radiation poisoning. If this gives you any comfort, potassium iodide to take it to keep your thyroids from absorbing radiation. Potassium iodide right there. And I guarantee you, you're going to want to eat before you take a couple of these pills each day. Have food on your stomach. These will make you very, very sick if you don't take food and water with that. But once you emerge, be prepared for the shock of your life. To hear the news, people went into shock over 9/11. Imagine this 1,000 times greater devastation. Gangs will already be forming to loot and salvage what they can for their own survival. Yes, it would be a Mad Max world. Would there be a continuity of government? Sure, they'd all hide in their bunkers and then come out and say, do as I say. Are there any fallout shelters in Ohio that are of working nature? The government may have one hidden from the public, but every place I've researched and looked up in Ohio, they are for visitation only, so I can honestly say that there aren't any working bunkers, nuclear fallout shelters in Ohio that are working. If you happen to come across one, there may be one in the basement of a courthouse. Of course, you'd have to have your own supplies, food, and water, because there won't be any. Chances are there probably won't be any running water. If you're in a suburban area, city, there definitely won't be. Suburban area, possibly. Rural, on your own land, and you have power, possibly. If not, it'll be, hand drawn by bucket, 5-gallon bucket of water, whatever you can get. So you'll need some way to decontaminate the water you'll be drinking, either by boiling or filtration or both. Pills. The walking wounded will be dropping over daily from radiation poisoning. If you have any livestock that are acting different than what they normally would be, do not eat the meat. Chances are they may have some radiation fallout inside them. If they are fine and you think you're going to risk it, make sure the meat is well done. No pink, no blood. It has to be well done. Doesn't mean you have to eat charcoal briquettes, but it means it has to be no red, no pink, no blood. I would be careful on eating vegetables. So this is where it comes into stocking plenty of food and water. You can survive this. The aftermath would be horrific. For an air detonation in Chicago, and I looked this up, air detonation or a ground detonation in Chicago, as an instance, immediately, in a blink of an eye, 12,000 would be dead. Another 52,660 would be considered walking wounded, and that doesn't include later for the die-off from radiation poisoning. So if you're in a city that is a potential nuclear target, military bases, Wright-Patterson Air Force being one of them, I would probably, if I could, move away from there or accept the consequences. If you're interested in looking stuff up, go to Nuke Map, one word, Nuke Map, NUKEMAP, and do your own devastation. It's kind of interesting, kind of morbid, but you can select a city and a megaton warhead, do the fallout, do the wind pattern, After 3 days, it drops off tremendously, so you can survive this. But you'd have to have your own food, your own stockpile of food. Nuke map. You can also look up on YouTube Erwin Redlener, Redlener, surviving a nuclear attack on YouTube. Erwin, Irwin, last name Redlener. You can also look up how to protect yourself from nuclear fallout and survive on YouTube. There are a lot of how to survive nuclear attacks on YouTube. A lot of videos. Also, as presented on Viking Preparedness, Pastor Joe Fox, he's talking about this book right here, Preston Kearney, right here. This is available on Amazon. I think I paid like $30 for it. This is loaded with a lot of information. Hope you can see that. A lot of valuable information, how to build shelters, how to prepare food, what to look for, and how to survive. Since this administration seems to be hell-bent on entangling with another nuclear power over a country that doesn't mean a whole lot to us, we better know how to take care of ourselves. He came out and said, we're not sending 8,500 troops into Ukraine, then why are we putting them on ready alert? We already have troops in Ukraine training the Ukrainian soldiers. We're sending more and more weaponry each and every day. Anthony Blinken is a complete failure as a Secretary of State. He was a failure under Obama administration. He was never successful in any capacity as a diplomat or a foreign secretary. He screwed up Afghanistan, he screwed up Libya, he screwed up Egypt, he screwed up Syria, and all those in Syria and Yemen and Libya. He said no. They said no foreign troops. Yet there they are. There's American troops there, boots on the ground. No, there's no boots on the. Yes, there were 2,000 American soldiers in Syria. Another 300 in Egypt. Another 300 in Libya. And we know what happened in Afghanistan. Don't believe this man. Where are we going to send? Why do we have them on alert? Where do you think we're going to send 8,500 troops? We're going to send them to Ukraine to put them in harm's way. If he says they're going to Poland, that's nonsense. That's a lie. We don't need to do this. Yes, we cannot allow Putin to march across Europe again and rebuild the Soviet Union. Denmark and others are putting their air forces on alert. We have ships going into the Black Sea at the same time the Russian ships are there. What could possibly go wrong? Get yourself right with God. Get baptized. You don't know who has their finger on the button. Greg out.